Welcome to Talking Schmitz. I'm your host, Nate Schmitz. The goal of this show is to help you improve both mentally and physically. Enjoy the show.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about the one meal plan to rule them all.
But it's very true. And then, as opposed to most of the other stuff you hear out there, this will be the one meal plan that will fit all of your needs. And so we're pretty excited to release this one to the world finally.
There are things that are very foundational in any meal plan or diet, but really want to focus on the most important things if you're going to get any takeaways from this episode today.
Oh, yeah, it's very simple. It's 2 words, calories and protein. A good quality diet will always be built around these 2 foundational things.
Calories and protein.
Now, if you get them correct for any diet, be it weight loss, weight gain, muscle retention, recovery, you will be getting 80% of the work done, if not more, honestly. In my opinion, very frustrating to see all the different fad diets out there really miss this point just because, in essence, they're trying to sell something or they've fallen for the classic flaw of, hey, this worked for me, so that I guess means it works for everyone else.
Because so often they end up losing the forest through the trees because there's so many things that go into a diet that people like to focus on, whether it be hormones or any other factor that goes into our overall health and metabolism.
Oh, definitely. There's a lot of nuance. We are a complex system in terms of nutrition. We need different B vitamins, multi-minerals, all sorts of things for refining and optimizing ourselves. Yes. And so for each individual, that is going to be your challenge. Finding a good healthcare practitioner, coach, whoever to guide you through that is very much recommended for everyone out there, especially since you're starting with almost no knowledge of those things. It's way more important to focus on your calories and protein because even if you do have a hormonal issue, you at the end of the day still have a basal metabolic rate of what you're actually burning every day. And if you're trying to gain weight, you have to eat more than that number. And if you're trying to lose weight, you have to eat less than that number. That's never going to change. Just the hormones in our system, the nutrients in our system change the way we metabolize those calories for sure. So that's where being a calorie is flawed. But at the end of the day, once you take into consideration all of your own quirks, a calorie at the end of the day is a calorie. And so it's very important. And my favorite, the king of calories, is protein. And that's why calories and protein are what you need to focus on.
Absolutely. So, if we can master the calories and the protein, that's going to get us most of the way there for almost any fitness goal or nutrition goal, mainly the nutrition goal. And how would you define a calorie?
Oversimplified, but to make it easy to digest, a calorie is energy. And that's why it's important and they always will matter because no matter who you are, you need energy every day. And so consuming calories gives you that energy. I have yet to meet someone who has chlorophyll in their skin, has the capacity to just straight up sit in the sun and breathe and just absorb energy. So,
Yet.
yeah, yet. Maybe we will. But for now, food is our most abundant source of energy or calories. And saying calories don't matter is the equivalent to saying energy doesn't matter, which is just incredibly flawed.
And that's one of the number one myths that calories don't matter. It's all about carbohydrates and your insulin. That's what really matters when it comes to fat loss and weight gain.
Yeah, and to keep from getting too stuck in the forest, those change how we process some of the calories depending on timing and abundance of carbohydrates. But that being said, at the end of the day, you're still burning calories, and each person has to optimize based off of how their body's currently burning energy.
There'll still be calories in, calories out at the end of the day.
Yes, you want to be below your calorie needs for weight loss and above for weight gain. And hopefully, everyone is still doing resistance training to maintain muscle mass or build muscle in either of those scenarios. And so, the other part that actually is important for that, now that we've made it clear that calories are important and they do matter, now that you've accepted that, the next thing to figure out for most people is going to be how many do you burn in a day? You call it your total daily energy expenditure, your basal metabolic rate, whatever you want to call it, your Bernie McBurn burn. You just want to figure out how many calories you burn in a day.
So that's going to be step one
Hmm.
is figure out your basal metabolic rate.
Yeah. And from there, you get to figure out, hey, what are my goals? Traditionally, I would hope people actually want to gain a little bit of muscle and hopefully listening to a lot of the things we've shared. With that basal metabolic rate figured out, we want to focus on either weight loss or weight gain. And for people who are already perfect, maintenance.
Right, because the basal metabolic rate is in a 24-hour period, just how many calories is your body expending and using throughout the day. Because just by being alive and breathing and having our heart beat, we are going to be burning calories no matter what.
Yes, even sitting still because your heart's still beating, you're burning calories.
And that there's tools that we can use to try to get an estimate as to how many calories are we burning in a day.
Technically, my favorite is always going to be journaling, but to give people a simpler start,
I
since
want I
we
want a shortcut, Nate.
yeah, we want the equations. So 1 plus 2 plus 3. No. The most consistent equation I've had success with people is the Mifflin St. George. It gives people a better starting point that's a lot more accurate to where their basal metabolic rate is beginning. And you can even input most of the ones you can find online with that are going to have activity levels that you can add to it so that you can figure out what your BMR is based off of 3 days of exercise, 5 days of exercise, low intensity, high intensity, or just sedentary lifestyle, which really helps be more accurate.
But you do have to try to be honest with yourself.
Oh, yeah,
Just because you go for a 10-minute walk once a day, that doesn't mean that you're athletic, intense exercise.
correct. So, yeah, the honesty, and then even with these, keep at least a 3-day food journal so that you can accurately track what you're consuming based off of that equation. Because that equation can say, for an example, give you a 2,000 calorie output. And if you've been consuming in your journal 2,200 calories and you're still losing weight, that means your BMR is actually higher than the 2,000.
And that's a common trap too, is that someone can start this process and use one of these equations and they will track their food and then they will track their calories. And they might find that they're not having the results that they're looking for right off the bat, just because there is still that room for error. For example, I did this equation and it said that my BMR is 2,500 calories, which is not even close. My BMR right now is about 500 calories less than that. So if I went based on only the equation and then I never really tracked my food or actually found out how many calories I'm eating in a day, I would end up getting really, really fat.
Yeah, and this is part of where other people run into the hurdle of disbelieving that a calorie is a calorie. It's good that you actually, again, track your own food and intake, have some form of measurement, because even if a calculator says, hey, you're 2,500 calories, your body can go, no, you're not. And then you run into the issues of not knowing where to go from there. But if you keep that journal, then you can actually see where your specific calorie burn is.
You'll get a more precise measurement if you're able to journal your food.
Correct.
And you also recommend doing at least 3 days, maybe doing it over a weekend. Why is that?
Oh, the 3 days and the weekend is because the weekend is where most of us will go gently, turn a blind eye to what we actually consume. And so we'll be pretty on track 5 days a week and then go the weekend and hear about all those cheat days and things like that and just uber binge and don't realize just how many calories we're consuming because we just hear the word cheat day and go, I can eat whatever I want. And then when you actually track that, you'll see that your weekend consumption, and it's a good eye opener, is somewhere in the realm of 5,000 plus calories per day. And then that really will
I've been there.
stop any sort of weight loss for most people's weight loss goals. And so you get to the more honest view of yourself. Yes, it will be a bit upsetting, but the 3 days, especially over the weekend, gives you a more accurate average calorie consumption rather than tracking your best days where it's like, oh no, look, all 5 days of the week I hit 2,000 calories. So that's my average. It's like, yeah, but The 5,000 calorie binge on Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday is going to skew those averages way the other way.
Can be very illuminating to do the food journal. And we're only even asking you to start with just 3 days. Anyone can do anything for 3 days.
Oh, definitely. It's just nice to actually get to know yourself, which is really cool. That's my more favorite way to reframe that. You're getting to know yourself on a deeper level. Like, oh, wow, I actually have the capacity to eat a bunch of calories. Yay, me.
So we talked a lot about calories. That was the first half of our foolproof meal plan, so to speak, here.
hmm
But I want to talk a little bit more about the other side of the coin, which is protein.
Yes, very true. And so we'll do what we did with calories and define protein, but in a digestible manner.
Oh,
Protein is going to be one of the three major macronutrients, and it's the one that literally provides the building blocks for new muscle, tissue, and cells, and almost every part of our body.
very foundational macronutrient.
It's the most special out of all of them. We can even utilize protein to generate carbohydrates within our body. That's how versatile it is. And so it's king for a reason, and that's why any good diet is going to be built around protein consumption.
And as meatheads and bodybuilders, I would say that yes, protein is the most important macronutrient.
Oh, yeah. Plus, it's honestly the tastiest one. Don't get me wrong, carbs are great.
I think you're by yourself on that one, Nate. I mean, I like the taste of protein, but had to train my palate to be able to better enjoy the steaks
Oh,
and protein powders.
that's weird. Well, protein powder I get, but the steaks and meat is delicious.
Yeah, steaks was a bad example.
Like, meat is great. The processed protein is a little tougher to start to palate at first, but once you get it, it's actually you kind of feel like it's a sweet treat in those we'll go protein candy bars because that's what a lot of the protein bars actually are.
And protein being one of the three macronutrients. Each of the macronutrients, carbohydrates, fats, proteins, they're all comprised of calories. Carbohydrate in 1 gram has 4 calories. Protein has about 4 calories. Takes a little bit more calories to digest protein. And fat has about 9 calories per gram.
And
So
that's
you still have to know your overall calories and be able to incorporate the macronutrients. And right now we're focusing more on incorporating the protein into that plan.
part of the reason it is so special is on, say, a weight loss diet, it helps you maintain muscle mass and it actually keeps you a little more full as well as it gives you what you need to keep you
Satiating.
it keeps you in a better mood consuming more protein as you lose weight, which makes you more tolerable to people around you because one of the things that most people overlook with a weight loss diet, you're going to be hungry no matter what because you're in a calorie deficit. So anything you can do to eliminate the sense of hunger as well as the hangry mood that people tend to get in is a huge blessing that makes dieting way easier.
It will keep you full and keep more muscle on your body as you're going down.
Yep. Which in turn, as you do keep more muscle on your body with weight loss, you look better and better rather than just straight up losing muscle and fat and becoming a stick.
And what are some tips on how to figure out how much protein should I be incorporating into my meal plan?
Oh, this one's a lot more simple than the Mifflin St. Jeor equation, even though there are equations for it. But my favorite go to is what's your ideal body weight and pick that in grams of protein per day. It's pretty straightforward. So even for the people who are, morbidly obese, 400, 500 plus pounds, a lot of the equations for protein are going to hit you at ridiculously high levels of protein, which is already another big challenge for losing weight. Whereas if your ideal body weight is, say, 200 pounds, that's a much more reasonable protein goal to be able to hit regularly,
Right.
and you'll have way more success.
Yes, the ideal body weight works better, especially for much larger people than the gram per pound of current body weight.
And even for the bodybuilder bros out there who want to gain weight, it allows you to maintain that muscle mass by, say, you want to reach 220 pounds of mostly muscle. You're still going to be needing to consume sufficient protein to maintain and build that muscle. And so it's still a relatively easy goal to hit.
And most people that are starting any fitness or nutrition journey, if anything, their protein will probably be less than what they want it to be starting off. Another reason why the journaling is so helpful to do, not just for the calories, but also the total grams of protein you're having in a particular day, just so that you know how you can shoot for getting more.
Yeah, that one is one of the biggest aha moments for a lot of people is once they do journal, they come to the realization, oh my gosh, I've been under consuming protein like crazy. Because most people look at me when they hear what I eat as if I'm fairly crazy, but that's the minimum you have to eat sufficient amounts of protein for body composition goals. But most people I've seen after they've done their journal will be 100 grams of protein or below per day. And unless you're a tiny person who is, that's their goal to be 100 pounds, then you're grossly insufficient in your protein.
Unless your ideal body weight is 50-pound child. If you're eating only 50 grams of protein, you got to do something.
Correct. The other one that comes to mind in terms of easy calculation, if you feel ashamed for your ideal weight, is simply take your height in inches and multiply it by two. And that will give you a good body reference point for ideal amounts of protein.
You said inches?
Inches,
Oh,
yes.
we just lost our whole European audience there.
They have conversion calculators online. I think we're good.
And let's say if my goal is to lose weight and I work on my calories and my protein, what might I expect as I'm going down in weight? Are there any hurdles or obstacles that I should be aware of?
Aside from the previously mentioned hunger, the other one is your goals and calorie burn will change. So most people hop onto a meal plan and they get excited with initial, 2 to 5 to 10 pound weight loss within a short time frame. And there's many reasons for that initial weight loss. But our bodies are phenomenal at adapting and they do that to keep us alive and happy and healthy. And so as we lose weight, our BMR changes based off of our diet. And so be ready to adjust your numbers and hit those walls to where, oh, I was eating 2,000 calories a day for 2 weeks and kept losing weight. And now I'm not losing weight. That means your body's adapted. And so now you have to adjust your calorie consumption.
It's a survival feature in our body, not a glitch in the system.
And it's doing that to keep us healthy and happy rather than we think it's trying to stall our weight loss, which, yes, it is, but for good reason.
So don't expect the weight loss to be a linear line until you have the most amazing Mr. Olympia physique. It should be more asymptotic. And I heard it described before as trying to wring out water from a towel. If the water is the weight that you're losing, the more dry the towel gets, the more of a struggle and how hard it is to wring out that towel just to get those last 1, 2 pounds off.
Oh, yeah. The last pounds are always the most difficult. You're at your hungriest, you have a little less willpower. It's just mentally tougher. It's not really, say, as physically tough. That's where you get the mental toughness comes in.
So if you're going to be embarking on any weight loss journey, just expect the suck that's going to come from it.
But that suck will make you tougher, which is cool, and you're going to look great. Do keep your mood in mind. If you become a pain in the ass for everybody around you, probably think about stopping your diet and, go the other way, do a refeed, do a little bit of a weight gain so that you can be a nice, friendly family member or friend. So take that into consideration for sure. And even when you mentioned the bodybuilder weight loss, that brought to mind, even their weight loss isn't linear. They're going to have weeks that don't go down nearly as much as they would have liked, but they have a different precision level in terms of minerals and hydration and all these other factors that they calculate. So theirs isn't even nearly as linear as newbie weight loss.
What are some of the strategies that we can start to implement to start hitting those protein goals and the calories?
Oh, yeah, that's a wonderful question. And this is where I like to keep it as simple as possible so that people can apply these. But one of the ones is prioritize your protein before anything else. It sounds super simple. Some people have a Frappuccino for breakfast, or some people have a bowl of cereal, or things of that nature. And that is not prioritizing protein by any
You
measure.
never had cereal for breakfast?
Oh, I was raised on cereal for
Wash it down with a
breakfast.
Starbucks milkshake?
I would love to do that and be healthy. I doubt that's going to be the case. You got to make that switch. And another good thing for the journal, you get to see, oh my gosh, I just had like 100 grams of carbs for breakfast and 2 grams of protein. So when you make that switch, not only will you be more satiated on your weight loss journey or even on your weight gain, but it starts you off with a higher amount of protein so that you don't have that struggle at the end of the day. oh, I got to hit 150 grams of protein today. And then they get to dinner and they still have to hit another 75 to 100 grams of protein. And they're just like,
Yikes.
oh, this is going to suck. But if you prioritize your protein first thing and you hit, 20 to 30 grams for breakfast and another 20 to 30 gram snack and then another 30 grams for lunch, by the time you do get to dinner, there's only another maybe 30 grams to hit. And it's a lot easier to hit your protein goals just by putting protein first.
Try to have protein for breakfast and some protein for lunch. That
Mhm.
way, you're not playing catch up by dinner time.
Oh, yeah. You'll see everyone recommends protein powder, but it is a super powerful tool
Very convenient.
in that anyone who has, say, oatmeal for breakfast, and you can even add it to the milk in your cereal if you still have to have cereal, but get a flavor that matches, you can put protein powder into your oatmeal or your cereal milk, which is a great way to start that. And it's an easy one to apply. So I usually recommend eggs or steak and eggs or some sort of lean turkey sausage or chicken sausage in the morning. And oh man, they're delicious and I love it. I had eggs this morning. I had like 4 or 5 eggs. It's great. And if you're really on the go, get a protein shake instead of having to make all those meals or a protein bar. Not that that's my first go to, but at least you're prioritizing protein.
And when you're trying to get the calories under control, try to eliminate the liquid calories. That's going to be your path of least resistance when you're starting to find things to lower your overall daily calorie intake.
For some reason, it's a weird epiphany that I see over and over again with people who say eliminated soda or they've eliminated their super sugary Starbucks. And then after just a month, they're like, oh my gosh, it's working. I'm losing weight. And that is a phenomenal strategy in terms of eliminating your liquid calories because, man, did they go down easy and they spike up your calorie consumption very quickly.
And would encourage you to track while eliminating those liquid calories or replacing them with diet options, zero soda options. Because if you switch a regular soda with a zero soda, if you replace it with two donuts, then we're back to square one again.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Hey, they told me to get rid of my sugary drink, but here's my sugary meal.
Which I have seen people do quite a bit, where they'll switch to diet soda and then they get mad at me because they didn't lose weight immediately. And then just ask them, well, what did you eat over the last weekend? It's like 5 pizzas. It's like, yeah, it's not magical. It still comes back down to the overall calories and are you getting your protein? The two most important things that we're driving home.
And in terms of protein, plan for laziness. We are all lazy, and the people who've accepted that they're lazy have better strategies to combat it. And that's where, not that I recommend snacks, but snacking is one of those hardest things for people to beat. So find your favorite snacks that you do have and essentially find a protein replacement. Like some of my favorite protein replacements for a lot of those snacks and lazy moments where I don't feel like cooking or where I'm in a rush are going to be things like the low sugar beef jerkies. Like, oh, I've loved jerky since I was a kid, but I liked the sweet teriyaki ones. And all I really had to do was switch to the ones with less sugar. And man, still love jerky. And I get a bunch of protein. I mean, 3 ounces of protein, one of those little bags is going to get you, 60 plus grams of protein, which is ridiculous for such a tiny snack. And then that's where you can do the bars or the powders. And then for my cereal fans out there, I am a huge fan, not sponsored, of Magic Spoon. They are a phenomenal company and that they have a really high quality protein cereal. And so it's so cool to be able to eat a bowl of cereal and be like, getting buff with this cereal.
I eat too many protein bars, I'll be honest. Really love the Bear Bell protein bars.
Ooh, those are delicious.
They're delicious. The protein to calories is a really good ratio. When I'm being more cheap, then the pure protein bars from Costco are a good go-to.
Oh yeah, good cost effective for sure.
Not as tasty, but Victory doesn't always taste delicious.
Well, the medicine doesn't go down well, but victory tastes sweet. Once you get those gains and you get that
That's what I meant.
that selfie in the mirror
There we
where you're like,
go.
ooh, look at these abs. It's like, oh, all those not so tasty protein bars were worth it.
But because I am lazy, like you're saying, I keep these snacks in my desk at work or I have some in the car just in case because you never know. It's hard to be cooking every single one of your meals and making sure you always have that when you have a busy family, work life, etc.
Oh, definitely. And that's why, again, to reiterate, plan for laziness. Most people fail their diet goals because they plan it to be perfect the whole time, which is just ridiculous. ridiculously stupid. There's no way you're going to, having never meal prepped in your life, meal prep all the meals you need regularly and remember to bring them, remember to eat them, remember to, say, even bring them out to a lunch that you randomly got invited to and said yes to, or different social events. Life happens, and you're not going to be perfect on your meal plan. So have all those snacks available and do try and get a little bit of meal prep in so that you have a little bit of that obligation. Oh, I already made this meal, so I might as well go eat it.
And to summarize, the meal plan to rule them all calories and protein. And if you can get those under your belt and really understand that about yourself, you can achieve so many of your nutrition and fitness goals.
Oh, 100%. That being said, we appreciate everyone asking a bunch of questions and leaving those comments. So join us next time for other meal plans and things to rule them all.
So get started and let us know how it goes for you.
Thanks for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed today's episode of Talking Schmitz. Remember to subscribe, leave us a review, and share us with your friends. Your support helps us reach more people and continue bringing you quality content. You can find us on Instagram at talking_Schmitz, and we'll catch you next time.